Okay, I will continue with the activities of Amnesty International in India. In the past, Amnesty International has expressed a concern about the use of the Maintenance of Internal Security Act, which is no longer in force, and the numerous arrests under it during the emergency rule of 1975 to 1977. Similarly, the extensive public criticism and government review of the use of Terrorist and Disruptive Activities Prevention Act, that is TADA, the legislation most widely used for preventive detention, led to its lapse in May 1995. However, Amnesty International is concerned about reports of the continuing application of TADA for offences committed before its lapse, as well as the continued detention of hundreds of people under its provisions who have not yet been brought to trial and who Amnesty International believes will not receive a fair trial. So, the Jammu and Kashmir Public Safety Act is extensively used for preventive detention. Other legislations, including the National Security Act and the Prevention of Black Marketeering and Maintenance of Supplies of Essential Commodities Act, continue to provide for prolonged period of detention without trial. The proposed extension of provisions similar to those which existed in TADA to the general criminal law through the Criminal Law Amendment Bill 1995 is of particular concern. So it would mean that provisions of this special legislation, previously limited in its applications to specific regions and activities, would be extended to the whole of India. Amnesty International routinely monitors proposed legislations. For example, the organization is concerned to note the provisions of the Conservation of Forest and Natural Ecosystem Bill, which would provide forest officials with powers to arrest on the suspicions that a forest is being encroached upon and could lead to arbitrary arrest and detentions. Regarding the death penalty, Amnesty International opposes the death penalty in all circumstances because it violates the right to life and right not to be subjected to cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment and punishment. These rights are spelled out in the ICCPR, that is International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, as well as in the Constitution of India. Imposition of the death penalty also carries a risk of killing an innocent person and hasn't been proven to have any unique deterrent effects. Regarding the perpetrators of human rights violations and abuses, Amnesty International's concern for the protection and promotion of human rights within its mandate leads to specific concerns relating to the conduct of the forces of law and order and of armed opposition groups. Amnesty International has documented discriminatory practices in policing that militates against the rights of specific communities and is investigating reports that the police use violent methods during routine procedures, for example, in eviction of illegal settlements or when land is acquired by government. Uh, So, Amnesty International has documented cases where the police have acted in collusion with other power brokers in civil society, facilitating the torture and ill treatment of people. So, Amnesty International has further documented the illegal action of police officers outside their home state, and in investigating reports which suggest that the police act in collusion with other non-state actors to violate the rights of Indian citizens. The police are rarely required to give a public account of their actions. No independent groups or agencies have the authority to visit police stations or inspect police records, and it appears that the judiciary seldom undertakes this function. This is no independent and I'll see there is no independent police complaints mechanism to encourage transparency and accountability in day-to-day policing. Although Amnesty International has investigated complaints against police, it cannot enforce its findings. Amnesty International has been able to identify uh, those most vulnerable political and social activists, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, and other disadvantaged communities, minorities, women, children, and refugees. Uh, at the same time, Amnesty International has also highlighted violations of the rights of activists working with specific communities or in the context of land, labor, and property struggles. From the large metropolitan centers located throughout the country to the vast rural areas, land is at the center of many of the tensions within India that lead to pervasive violation of human rights. Similarly, Amnesty International is investigating reports of ill treatment in the context of evictions from squatter or slum settlements with the collusion or complicity of the police, violations in the context of environmental activism, much of which is concerned with the displacement of people from their land and the destruction of the natural habitat also take place. Amnesty International also expressed concern at the shooting of a woman who was protesting at her eviction from land that was to be used for resettlement as a result of Sardar Sarudaba Dam project. And the organization is concerned with the failure to resolve land conflict appears to have fueled human rights violation. Moreover, Amnesty International is concerned that the perception among disadvantaged communities that a high level of violation is normal reinforces the vulnerability of these people within the criminal justice system. So, we see that Amnesty International has made some recommendations to Government of India. Amnesty International urges the Government of India to take certain measures to ensure the safety of those defending the whole range of rights as set out in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Uh, and it ensures that the freedom to peacefully protest is granted throughout India, and that excessive force will not be used against protesters. Uh, then it ensures the protection from harassment and attacks of those defending the rights of others who may be wider threat from vested interest. order prompt and impartial investigation into all attacks on human rights defenders and bring those responsible to justice. Then Amnesty International ensures the free and unhindered flow of information to and from human rights organizations in India. And it also ensures grant of free access to international human rights organization and United Nations human rights mechanisms in all parts of India. Amnesty International urges the Government of India to take the following measures to end the discriminatory practices, like one is freedom to protest. Freedom to peacefully protest, and then review the implementation of Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989 and the Prevention of Civil Rights Act 1955 to ensure that they were fulfilling the purpose for which the acts were passed, that is to grant protection to members of vulnerable communities. Then to review the Code of Criminal Procedures and the implementation of existing safeguards to enhance the protection provided to women detainees. Then to ensure that any women who bring charges of rape and sexual abuse against law enforcement personnel is effectively protected from harassment or reprisals. Then it ensures to provide training in the basic principles of international human rights law to government officials, including all members of the security forces. Okay, that's it. Any confusion you have will be sorted out in the live classes.